This is the Practicing Christian. For this week, we look at the question of something we don't think about very much in our world, idolatry. Crutches. That's what idolatry is. The use of crutches when both of your legs are in good working order. Imagine that your work, which you love, is making laser-cut pictures on cypress wood and on other woods. There's great fire. The great fire. Your studio is gone. Your laser engraver cutter, your laptop, your software, your carefully seasoned wood and veneer supply, your drawings, your photographs of scenes to be used when the computer copied and cut them. Your client list, everything is gone with that fire. How soon are you back at work? Some people, when their fabric store is burned to the ground, when their printing shop is thrown down in an earthquake, when a gas line blows out in their ad firm, or war takes their horse ranch in another country, their home is destroyed with all their diaries and photographs, treasures, all the things that they really, really wanted. If the love of their life dies, or worse, walks out forever, leaving only an inadequate note behind, they're devastated. Practicing Christians aren't immune to these kinds of problems. But what happens next is hugely important. Both resurrection and the new birth of which Jesus spoke have a common core. The code remains. That is, things like the DNA, perhaps, in the case of resurrection. Rebuilding or rebirth comes from this code. The code comes from your direct personal connection to God. People who lack that code are in real trouble. For example, I think all of us have known someone who moved to another town, or who perhaps stayed in place, and a new minister had come into his church and who said, it's not the same, and never went back to worship with that new minister again. That's the story of someone who never worshiped God, but instead worshiped the building and the congregation or the minister. The core code is missing. Nothing here remains to be reborn in a relationship with God. The same thing is true with businesses and with horse ranches and lovers. Are we in these because it's a job or a hobby we've inherited, or a convenient way to get rich, or get an itch scratched and then have someone else come to fix dinner? Again, there's no core code for anything to be built on. The lover, the business, horse and church councils, and all crutches on which a man may lean rather than build his core. In the world of idolatry, we usually don't select a powerfully hot God and attach ourselves to him. We select poorly for what happens to be conveniently available as with daily life. In fitness training, there's a concept called core training. The muscles and the tendons, apparatus, cord tendons, etc., in your trunk need to be developed well, or sharp arm or leg motions can rip joint connections, and hard work, running, or lifting can rupture core muscles. Without a developed core, everything else, curls, lunges, the presses, climbing, is at the mercy of a weak core. Just so is the life of a practicing Christian at the mercy, perhaps, of a weak spiritual core. If you've become involved in a religion, but not God, not Christ, you're at the mercy of the people and the institution. If they disappoint you, you're in trouble. You may find yourself with no place to go to. If your business is the equipment and inventory and facilities, but not the driving impulse of your heart, you may never get back in the driver's seat again. If your love is a convenience and a tool and not the object of a love that was in your heart, looking to be connected to a partner, you'll mope around and look for another easy connection, but you won't take the love that's in you and search out the magnet that it wants to lock with, and which in turn wants to lock with you. And thus you miss having a core to your love. Crutches, we wrote. That's what idolatry is. The use of crutches when both of our legs are in good working order. Practicing Christians are always exercising their core relationship with God, from whom all blessings flow, as the old saying goes. God works. Good life and good love are blessings that flow from a strong core, a core of strong spiritual legs for our walk with the Lord. So, should the people or the objects in our lives and our jobs fail or weaken, we don't fall apart, because the burning fire within us lights the path and is never extinguished. Just like the burning bush from which Moses heard a voice speak, with God calling out, that was in Exodus 3:13-15, God's own name, Yahweh, which means, this is the best translation we can get, I am becoming who I am becoming. That is what God said his own name was. I am becoming who I am becoming. You can be that person, on fire with life and love, not just the trappings of a particular job, a particular relationship, but with a deep core of what you're doing with your love and your life. Serve then, be the king's right arm, and then from your core, find the love, the work, and life that build with incredible strength